going out because it's too fucking hot to be wearing pants. Check 1 2 test check. Hey everyone, welcome to Kerbal Career Program. I am Jim, aka Sir Chimula Beta. I think I'm up a little too high volume-wise. And I am going to be finishing taking my base to the Mun and deploying it, or excuse me, my station to the Mun and deploying it. However, right now what I'm actually doing is do a little preview here of turn off Kerbal Engineer of what's going to be next week probably, which is one of the contracts I have is to deploy a station around Minmus attached to a Class E asteroid. And though, if you don't know what a Class E asteroid is, those are the biggest asteroids in the game. Now, I've been holding off on doing this because I could not find a Class E asteroid, but my Class E, not Class E. My Sentinel satellite that is in orbit around the I think it's Kerbal is the sun of the Kerbal system. It has finally mapped a Class E asteroid, so you can see the station. I'll show you the plot of where that asteroid is. But so this is the station itself, and it's probably overkill, but there's quite a bit of money for this particular contract that I can get, so I figured I might as well do a nice station that had some room for expansion or doing other stuff. So this is the part at the very tip of the asteroid or station that will the grabbing unit, the claw, will grab the asteroid. I have drills for drilling into the asteroid. I have a holding tank and an ISRU convertitron to convert that into fuel and monopropellant. I've got room for I need to have at least 10 Kerbals. I have room for 11. No, sorry, I have room for 15. I have, some thermal control systems, some ability to generate power, relays. I still haven't put on the science equipment yet, but that I'll be doing next. I'll finish that, building it off stream. But this is the ship that will actually do the asteroid pushing. So if you look, the Nerve atomic motors will do most of the they'll do the burn to the asteroid, and they'll assist in the final burn, but the actual, the bulk of it, the real thrust is this Rhino liquid fuel engine that will help do the initial burn to change the asteroid's trajectory, and then also to help bring it into orbit around Minmus. So you could do it with just the nuclear engines, but having this big able to gimbal Rhino liquid fuel engine is really helpful. It's fairly efficient in space. It's designed for use in space in a vacuum. It has a huge amount of thrust, and so it will help me, like I said, do the initial and final burns to get this on a different trajectory and then into orbit at Minmus. I'll show you the trajectory of the asteroid. I'm also going to drink a beer. I'm enjoying a Revolution Brewing Freedom of Speech, with peach being the imperative thing in there. brewed by Revolution Brewing here, right here in beautiful Chicago, Illinois, the city of big shoulders. And become a new favorite. It's a seasonal sour. I like it a lot. I'm not advertising. I don't get paid for them. I just like it. I think other people should enjoy it. So what I'm tracking is asteroid PXW-150. If you look, so this is a Class E asteroid, which is huge. I think is what they classified it as. Here it intersecting with Kerbin. It is intersecting with Kerbin in 37 days and 2 hours. That's why I have to do this first. I wasn't planning on doing this mission next, but since we're going to have a close flyby of Kerbin in only 37 days, this is going to get launched next. I will send it out. It will intersect with the asteroid, latch onto the asteroid, nudge it just a little bit, so that it gets a little closer to Kerbin than that Kerbin's, I'll try and help capture it into Kerbin's sphere of influence, and then we'll maneuver it into orbit around Minmus. Given how big one of these E-class asteroids is, it's actually not that much smaller than Minmus itself. They're very big, which is part of the reason I'm putting so many engines on it. That may actually not be enough. I'm going to play with this a little bit off stream just to see, because it's been a while since I've messed with asteroid capture. I also have a mission to capture a Class A asteroid. I have not had one on the tracking that was close enough that it made sense. I have to bring one into orbit of Kerbin. Also, the thing about Class A asteroids is you have to be pretty efficient with it. There's no, they're not very big, so there's not a lot of resources you can get off. You can't make fuel from it. You can harvest quite a bit of fuel from a Class A asteroid. So that's what I'm doing there. But right now, I am going to finish the burn on this Mun Station, which I had trouble with before. I think there's something up with the most recent update to KSP where it's causing problems with maneuver nodes and accuracy of maneuver nodes. But we're ready to go now. This has no people on it, but has plenty of solar panels, keep control, and it's got plenty of satellite dishes on it, relay dishes to help with that as well. I probably should have put an antenna on this, now that I'm thinking about it. But I think with the relays it should be fine. So what I have to do is plan a maneuver for an intercept trajectory on the Mun. Actually, we're right in where we need to go. If I just, let me take a look here. Yeah, if I just go ahead and burn prograde from here, we should actually get a Mun intercept. So let me just flip this thing around. Yeah, so you want to, if you want to eyeball going to the Mun, if you just wait until it comes right around the edge of Kerbin and burn prograde, you will get there. You'll get an intercept. The Mun's easy to intercept. It's on the same orbital plane as, or it's at a 0 degrees inclination. So it's really easy to get a hold of. So I'm just going to go ahead and start burning. Turn the gimbal down off on this. And we should see our, just in case. We'll do a save game. But we should be able to watch our apoapsis go up. And eventually we'll see an approach on the Mun. I may have to do 2 burns on this, just for efficiency's sake. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead, since I was not quite lined up. I'm going to go ahead and wait. Warp here. Oh, turned off physics time warp. I'm going to wait to another, wrong button. The next time around and do this again. I was a little bit off to begin with, but this will give us the most efficient capture. And once we're there, we'll actually get we should get the contract fulfillment without any having to do anything. So we'll get the contract fulfillment, then we can start using the ISRU to process some of this ore that I have stored here and refuel the station. And that's why this station will actually probably be used for my Duna missions as well. Because the only thing you have to do with these missions, they have to have been new craft before built after you get the contract. So you can actually use the same craft to fulfill multiple contracts, which is what I'm going to do. We might have to expand it a little bit. I don't know for sure, but it's a good station to put in orbit around Duna because it will have everything we need to complete Duna missions. Like I said, I need to add a science module onto it. It does have some science modules, actually. I need to... yeah, actually, I don't think I need to add any science modules. I think I just need to add... Oh, here we go. You can see the Mun now. I don't know that I have to add any science modules to it. I think I just need to have landers and things like that to go with it. And I might put nuclear engines on there, too, to help make it a little bit more efficient to get there. But we'll just watch our apoapsis go up. We pass periapsis here. Thrust away weight on this is pretty abysmal because I'm using the Wolfhound liquid fuel engine for the sake of efficiency. And that has a pretty paltry output. We should be getting an intercept here any second now. Yeah, there we go. I overshot a little bit, but I've got 757 meters per second of delta V, which is plenty to do what we need. So we'll go ahead and make our adjustments. We're looking good. It's a little... Actually, I might not have overshot. I might have undershot a little bit. So let's... yeah, I overdid it, but thankfully I also overcompensated for how much fuel I need. So let's see if I can make some adjustments here. I'll add a maneuver here that will... I'm going to look at my... I probably shouldn't have eyeballed it, but, you know, we'll go with it. Add maneuver. There we go. Okay. Yeah, not a big adjustment. Here. This will be our... Go ahead and save game again. This will be our mid-course correction. And the only reason I want to be... there's not any really good reason I need to be going this direction around the Mun orbit. I just chose that. We can go the other way around. As a matter of fact, technically that would be how they would have done it on the Apollo missions to do a free return trajectory. Okay, we need to warp to our next maneuver, or warp to our maneuver node. But it's scanned 56.3 meters per second. I could have been done this more efficiently, but I think we'll be okay. This is my first beer. This will probably get less efficient as we go along. Uh-oh. I'm over-adjusted here. Do I need to add a different maneuver? I was trying to adjust my inclination. That's better. Periapsis of 52 kilometers. That's fine. I originally set it 100 and something, 101 or so, but this is actually probably better to be a little lower. There's no specific orbit that it requires for this, so I might as well go with whatever's easiest to get. Especially since we're going to reuse this for something else later. Also, while I was off stream, I was able to unlock the enough science to get the yeah, what would you call them? The, not Saber engines, whatever they call them, the equivalent of the Saber engines. I'm blanking on it now. The SSTO engines, the multi-use SSTO engines, and I built a space plane that I tested out, and we'll use that for crew missions. Anything that needs to go to, just needs to get into orbit. Either it's not great for satellite launches because it's still, you know, it's very finicky, but if I'm already gonna have to send people up, it does land much easier. So it's easier to land it on the run. I was able to land it directly on the runway at the Kerbal Space Center for a final test. So the proposed apoapsis is like 50. Here we go. 52. 276.5 meters per second. Still plenty. After that, I have a big margin for error here, and then I should be able to around Minmus, around the Mun. So yeah, this has everything I need to do for the Mun mission, and then once it's done, I will once it's I've completed the mission, I will collect my money for it, and then I will go ahead and deploy the station, which is going to be the bulk of the video. The bulk of the stream is deploying all the station pieces. I don't know why I'm warping like that. I need to actually warp to the next maneuver. Okay, we are ready. And, oh, time to burn. Here. We'll lose some of these pieces, and I'll actually deorbit some of these, hopefully deorbit some of these chunks. If not, we'll just send them off on a separate orbit. Unfortunately, there's no good way to flat pack a station for launch without doing some of that stuff, like little extra pieces. I guess I could. You can do like the four-way piece, but I was trying to keep it as simple as possible. I also don't know if I unlocked that either. I think I did. I think that's in meta materials. The only thing else I have left to unlock are ion propulsion and big rover wheels. And ion propulsion will be helpful for deep space probes and things like that, but I don't need it for any of the missions I've got coming up. Go ahead and speed up the time on this a little bit. So I am, again, using that Wolfhound engine, which is it's the most efficient chemical rocket engine in the game, but it's also super low thrust-to-weight ratio. It's very, very slow. And would be fine. It's really meant for a much smaller ship, but or smaller vessel. But this is okay. Now we're gonna watch. I think we are at orbit of the Mun. All right, we got it. Cool. So I'm gonna save game. I will go to the Space Center, get the money collected for it so we can get this cash back. I think I'm pretty much breaking even on this as far as the total value of all the things I put into orbit. I did save some money by returning the launch vehicles to the Kerbal Space Center, though. So that's something. Let's make sure that shows as in the archives. Oh yeah, that's. It will not. It's not failed or canceled, and it's not active anymore. Oh yeah, and I got the cash for it. Okay, so next thing is we're going to go ahead and deploy the station, get it ready to go. That's Mun Station 2B. I launched some contract satellites. I also did an orbital rescue. I have been perfecting my reusable, basically the cheapest reusable thing I can make right now. The smallest reusable thing I can do. Oh, I actually can get a science scan on this. Might as well take it. Okay. Now, the first thing we're going to have to do is, it will probably be easier to deploy the booms first. So, do another quick save here. And the first thing we're going to do is deploy these booms for the solar arrays. These solar arrays are way in excess of what this needs for, especially, in orbit of the Mun or near Kerbin. Although actually you'd get a lot less solar energy out by Duna, so it might not be. It actually might be of some use, and especially if eventually I want to send this somewhere else, having extra solar panels isn't a bad thing. So I'm going to deploy the first one. Now the way these are going to deploy, the solar panels should actually be going this way, I believe. Yeah, they should be going out so these will deploy, so the boom will stick out this way. The solar panels will be in this direction relative to the line of the station. That way, when I deploy these, it will be easy to dock additional modules if I want to. So we'll go ahead and undock this first. And then activate this. It's got plenty of battery power. So what we're going to do is we want to control from here, really, and then we'll go ahead and lock the camera. There we go. Now we'll now the first thing I want to do is, actually want to point this towards control from here. Yeah, we're pointing retrograde. So we're going to burn retrograde a bit. And then Alright, now... Come on, control from here. Okay. We'll burn back towards the target. Turn off RCS real quick. And we want to set this Clampotron as the target. And I want to keep track of the battery. Yeah, this uses very little battery, so this probe is, or the probe core that's on here is very small. So, and the only reason that these are being deployed on their own is because I don't want to try, and the solar panels are very fragile, and they are very hard to. I don't want to damage them while trying to clamp them with the claw of our little tug. Not sure if I got the right one targeted. I think there we go. Nope, it is. Okay. So I'm turning, I'm adjusting my unfortunately, I can't automatically target track with this like I can for some of the other, with some of the other you can with some of the other probe cores, but I think it's okay. But yeah, I got plenty of monopropellant, so I have plenty of time to mess around with this if I need to. But we'll turn RCS off. We'll rotate this so that it's roughly in the orientation we want, as if it's flying in. Change our make sure that we're on track here. Yeah, now the downside is, yes, I can't automatically target track. The upside is this is really easy to target because it's got this nice center line and all that good stuff. So we're gonna we just want to line up the indicator on the target indicator, and then we'll burn towards it. We just want to keep it on there. The alignment looks good. It's a little bit off, but I think we're, yeah, you know what, we need to slow down. That looks better. We're a little crooked, but it should be within the realm. We're just going to keep it on target. And then slow and steady in. We're still looking good. Drifting a little bit, but it's hard. This is so light that any try and find controls here. It looks like we're almost there. Yep. Alright. Lined up. And should be getting, yep, there we go. And we're docked. Nice and easy. Now, one thing I am going to do is transfer monoprop to this one. We might as well have a full load of monoprop on there. Now, let's see. Same deal. We want to control from here. We need to decouple the node. Actually, I want to save the game. Decouple node. Switch to that vessel, such as it is. RCS. Lock the camera again. I got it a little off this. Alright, here we go. Camera's locked. Now, if you're doing this yourself and you you're not as confident with your... What is going on here? Oh, I see. What the... Getting a weird... It's controlling weirdly. It's an issue. Alright. So, let's do it the other way. We want to, again, turn retrograde. This is just going to put it into a slightly lower orbit than the station itself. I'll turn trajectory off. Alright. Now, go ahead and turn there we go, do a little spinny there. Now, control from here. I think it may have gotten messed up when I detached. I forgot to change where I was controlling from. Where's the station? There it is. Set the station as target. We're doing battery-wise. Still plenty. It really doesn't consume a lot of energy when it's in this. Or this probe core doesn't consume a lot of energy, and the only other power I'm using really is communications and this reaction wheel. Alright, so burn towards the target. Make sure that the okay. Now it's oriented the way I expect it to be, and we'll go ahead and time warp. So we got to maneuver around to the other side of the station. So we're just going to make sure we miss the station by a wide berth because we don't want to smash into it, because it's, especially with these solar panels, they're really sensitive, as I said before. Let's see now. Okay, we're getting on the other side of the station now. We can turn this. Get the orientation where we want what we want. Target this, which is our intended destination. Burn towards it. Check how much I'm doing on Bonner propellant. Plenty. So again, I'm not being super efficient or even delicate on this because I don't have to be. but you could certainly be more precise if you wanted to be. Back this way a little bit. I keep forgetting to install the docking alignment indicator. That would be helpful right about now. But I can do it without it. This is not too bad. It's actually way more useful for things that are a lot heavier and harder to maneuver quickly, or where you have to be more efficient. This I don't have to be so efficient. Looking good. Looking relatively in line with everything. Straight up. Yeah. We're off on the overall alignment, though. A little off on the, turn off the SAS too. There we go. Sometimes if you can't get it to dock, you turn off the SAS. Now I have to deploy these manually. I don't actually, I want to see how we're doing on battery power. We got plenty of battery, so I don't actually want to deploy the solar arrays just yet for final use, although I am going to open a couple of these just for schnitz and giggles here. So we'll extend the central panels on each boom. They're actually looking pretty good. Like they're a little off, but all things considered, they're pretty well aligned. So I'll take it. And then again, massively excess for what we're doing here, but the idea is to have something that can be used elsewhere. I have new upstairs neighbors, and I don't know if they were moving in or actually I may have either new upstairs neighbors or I have old upstairs neighbors that are moving out. I'm not sure. But they've been making a lot of bumping noises upstairs, moving a lot of furniture, or just having backyard wrestling fights. I'm not sure which. Okay, now the next things we need to do are, what I'll go ahead and do is transfer all the fuel out of these two tanks into the primary tank, because that will make these much easier to deploy. And then, or to move, excuse me. And then, once they're in place, I will activate the ISRU and drain some of the ore out of these ore tanks, and that will make them easier to use. So, let's see. So the fuel tanks are empty. That's perfect. Let me make sure this fuel tank has... I'm going to fully fuel this, because this is, going to actually do the maneuvering. Okay. And we'll go ahead and pull from the... That's a structural tube, is that? Yeah. Fill up the RCS tank on here as well. Okay, now this is fully fueled up. Go ahead and make a quick save before I get started. And I'm going to... No, I need to undock. Which part am I actually controlling? Okay, I'm controlling the part I want. Great. Now I want to control from here. Sure, yep. And then I will set... I can't actually set these individual parts as a target. What I can do is set that as a target, but it's going to be hard to maneuver into. So I will just go ahead and fly this around. Activate the... Make sure my throttle's down. Activate these these engines. Make sure I had the throttle off so I didn't like accidentally fly off into space. Oh, well, I'm already in space. Fly off the wrong direction. Okay. And I'll go ahead and arm this. Oh, there comes the claw. And we need to... The easiest way to do this will be to fly around this way. Now this thankfully has the full control scheme, because this is going to require a little bit more finagling. I think I have enough room to just fly in straight and grab that from the bottom. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Now I'm doing this all with the primary thrusters because this thing has quite a bit of it turns very well. It's got you know, plenty of reaction wheel control for its size. I basically just want to conserve monopropellant as much as I can. Now I'm going to have to use monoprop to start burning off. Sideways velocity, or well, angular velocity, I guess. I don't know exactly the right way to say it. Still going up too much relative to my target. The reason I want to try and clamp onto this as close to the... I want to clamp onto this as close to the center line as possible because it'll make it easier to maneuver later. Yeah. This is the fiddly part of this whole endeavor. I'll bring this down. There we go. Slow down this way. And we bumped it a little bit, but that's not bad. I have trouble connecting here. Huh. The claw is very finicky as to what it will latch onto, so we may have to do the side. I just have a hard time telling what it's going to do. There we go. All right, we got it latched on, more or less. It has to be curved a little bit because I couldn't get any closer. But that's better than it could be. So we want to save. We want to decouple this node. Switch to this craft. so there we go. Fling that off into space to be a huge danger later. I'm sure some sort of poor sap. Okay, another quick save here. I'm actually going to release and disarm that. I'm going to control from here. Ooh, that's moving a lot faster than I want. Crap. Oh, SAS is turned off too. Well, I may have to do it with the claw. And try and be clever, and but I forgot about the velocity with which this thing detaches when you use the claw or disarm the claw. Come on, just detach for me, baby. Why won't you attach, you bastard? Well, that's why that's why I saved the game. I'm gonna reload. We'll just deal with the awkward alignment. Let's quick save 187 on Undercover Cop. Hip hop. Okay. Set that as target, and so we are controlling from this node now. It's going to be a little awkward, but it should still be okay. Locked. We're actually pretty close to it already, so I just, and in this one I don't have to worry too much about alignment. I just have to get it onto the attachment point. Turn off SAS and RCS. Eventually we can probably wiggle this thing into position. attach? Why is this not locked? No, stay locked on the target. There we go. Okay. Turn off RCS. See how we're doing on monoprop. Plenty. Alright. I'm going to turn this off. And while it's going, I'm going to go ahead and deploy one of these radiators and a couple of these solar panels. Yeah, these are really crooked compared to this thing's off kilter. That was one of the things I was concerned about while we were, you know what? I'm going to keep just the solar panels on this side because I want to have plenty of leeway over here. But yeah, this was supposed to be kind of turned. This should be turned a little bit here. Once we get everything in place, I'll you know, change its orientation just a little bit so it matches better. But so we've got a fuel thing here. I'm going to go ahead. I've got plenty of ore. I already completed my mission, so I don't have to worry about having 500 units of ore on this thing. And I will go ahead and start the ISRU for liquid fuel and liquid oxygen. And it will start using up ore and start refilling these fuel tanks. I'm going to go ahead and turn this one off actually too. And I'll make sure it fills this first. So while it's doing that, do a quick save. Release. Make sure it's back unlocked. Camera, all right. I'm going to maneuver around the other side, deploy the other fuel tank. Mod position, and these fuel tanks are designed so technically I can bring a couple more fuel tanks, or I can bring other modules in here if I need to. These may end up being docking, or I may make these docking arms for some lander craft that I will attach to send along with this vessel. But the point of it is going to be that like these are these can be expanded out like indefinitely, so you can keep putting larger fuel tanks on here, or you can put a docking port on here, really whatever it needs to be. The idea behind all of my stations, at least going that have been since I started building like for this sort of career mode, is modularity, both because there's options both to because for expanding the station, and also because it is it's nice to have the modularity. It's also nice to be able to, you know, do different stuff with the station, or even steal parts off of it if I need to. You know, if I need to borrow fuel tanks for a larger mission, I have fuel tanks on here that I can pop off and use on a new vessel for things like that. So let's see, we need to set that as the target. Okay, RCS off. Do most of this with the main engines, such as they are. A lot of this, so it's funny, a lot of this would be done in, I mean, that we have, NASA has sophisticated calculators and all that stuff, but almost every part of the missions for Apollo and all those things, they were designed so the pilot could do all of this. And in fact, the pilots did do some of this, or the commanders, technically. Pilot is the second in command, and not usually flying the spacecraft, but they all have to be able to fly the spacecraft. So the the pilots would be able to do this without any computer aid whatsoever. Sometimes it would be they'd have assistance from the ground, but all of it would be done basically just be able to eyeball it, which is pretty impressive. They did have like marks on the windows and things like that to make it easier to see where they were going and target where they needed to go, but that, it was really kind of just, it could be done by eyeball. Let's see. I already filled, no. Are we out of power? Can't be. Okay, it is running. It's just doing it very slowly. Give it a little... Okay, it is filling the tanks. Why it's being so lackadaisical about it, I'm not sure. It's got plenty of heat control. It's not overheating. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. We need to deploy this now. Decouple node. Switch to this. No? Well, that's that node that I was worried about being a problem. Alright. Unlocked mode again. So this is up. Okay. I guess I should just pay attention that that little window will be on the left for the docking port. What direction am I controlling from? Okay. There we go. Alright. Alright. Fling that off on a different orbit. Needs to be using RCS for that. Control from here. Set that as the target. And then our angular, we're kind of moving a little bit to the right to it, so I want to bring it back. And we'll go ahead and point towards it. We're far enough away that it won't be an issue. And then rotate upright. And we just keep it locked on, and then the autopilot or SAS will keep the nodes lined up for me. And then let's wait for that to looks like we're lined up pretty good. Oh no, wait. Ha. Wrong one. I want to make sure that this is even. Set as target. Glad I caught that. That would have been a real problem. So this will keep it more or less pointed in the direction we want. We've got the right thing targeted now. And we'll let the computer do most of the work. Are there easier ways to build a station? Yeah, this is one of the harder ways to build a station. I realize I've been kind of off mic or off camera a little bit. There are a lot easier ways to build a station. This is definitely, you just build it all together and launch it in one go. I did 3 launches plus a lot of assembly in orbit, but this is actually much closer to the way things would be done in real life. So, and I am striving not for absolute realism, excuse me, because obviously I'm playing Kerbal Space Program. I didn't change the gravity or anything like that. adjust any of the motors, change the atmospheric settings, or anything like that. But I am striving for at least the semblance of realism, even if I don't go for actual realism. I'm going around the corner here. Looking pretty good. And we'll just stay right on track there. Alignment's pretty decent. Probably could... A little closer there. And there we go. All right. Got that in place. So we've got two... go ahead and extend the radiator on that now. So we've got our two fuel tanks ready to go. Getting filled up with the liquid fuel and oxidizer from the ISRU here, which is pulling from these tanks here. And then now, since we're going to be waiting for some of those tanks to deploy or, drain as much as I can, I'm going to go ahead and deploy the habitation modules. So these are the habitation and docking modules. It's got, you can see here, two command pods forming the central core of the station, two command pods and a processing lab. Obviously, I don't have any Kerbins on it or Kerbinauts on it to do anything with those, but they are there. When we want to then send this on a later mission, we can stock this up with scientists. And actually, I think I have, once we refuel it, we should have enough Delta V to come back around, get back into Kerbal atmosphere, or Kerbin orbit probably, and do it that, or I will just send the crew up to the Mun. My SSTO has enough Delta V to get from Kerbin to the Mun and back, or Kerbin to Minmus and back. Can't land on either of them, I don't think, with what I have on it. It was not really designed for that, but it can get into orbit. It can carry a crew of 6 into orbit and get there and back and dock with the station, all that stuff. So, but before I do that, I have to go ahead and do the mission to capture that asteroid. So, we need to test, or we need to, I can't target that directly, but that's okay. We can target it just, visibly. And we'll go ahead and target the station itself, just so I have some idea of how fast I'm moving in relation to the target. And I'm just using little dabs of thrust from the main engines to set my alignment. And since this has no real required alignment either, I don't have to worry too much about how I dock with this either. I just have to kind of latch onto the side here somewhere. So I'm kind of just eyeballing my targeting, since I can't actually target the part I want to target. I just kind of have to go with it. And this is going to be one, really, if we do this right, we can kind of just rotate it and drop it into place. And there's also room here to add on some additional science modules or other stuff at this point as well. Oh, okay, that was a lot closer than I thought. That's fine. That works. Okay. Now, quick save. And then decouple. Go ahead and control from here, just so I know that I'm moving away from it. Locked. It's controlling from the wrong place again. Alright, now set that as the target. And I'm not actually going to control from the place that I want to attach just yet, because I'm already lined up more or less the way I want to be. I got to go a little bit this way, kill some of that velocity there, and then we'll go ahead and go down towards our target and back a little bit. And I will control basically from there just to line up the docking port. If I'm doing this right, which I think I am, yeah, we should be pretty close to just lining up with it on our own. So control from here as soon as we cross over. Yeah, all right. We're off a little bit on the center line, and that way too. Oop. Look good otherwise, though. Probably should have retracted that radiator. I may be a little too far down. It may end up hitting... you know, I can just control from here. And eyeball the alignment. Turn off RCS and hope that the magnet does the rest. There we go. All right, so that's one habitat wing / docking port deployed. I think just for my own sanity, I am going to go ahead and reattach to that at the end and straighten it out. Yeah, I don't need to. Do I need to do that? Not really, but yeah, it does not have anything to do with the functioning of it, and it doesn't look as weird as the other one being out of line. So I think I'm just going to skip that. Control from here. And then we'll go around to the other side. How am I doing on RCS? Plenty, or monoprop. Plenty. So use our RCS for this. I'm actually going to probably need to save some fuel, the main fuel, to move these ore containers, because these ore containers are much heavier. I'm also going to try to attach to this a little bit higher this time. Around, well, higher, a little bit further out this way, towards this end, to make it easier to dock it, I think. Well, I'm going to set the, make sure my target is set. Just because it gives me some idea of how fast I'm moving in comparison to the vessel, even though I can't target the part I actually want to target, which kind of stinks. I wish you could target subsystems or target these other pieces, but you can't. At least not in the base game. Well, thankfully, as far as targeting, it will, the center line of the ship will represent roughly the center of this, so I can get some targeting. Well, I forgot to do it before, but as soon as I'm attached, I'm going to retract that radiator so that I don't accidentally whack it when I deploy this. Make things a little easier for myself. There we go. That looks good. That should be offset enough to give me plenty of room to oh, I want to attach. You piece of crap. There we go. Okay. Quick save. Retract that radiator. How's the SRU doing? Good. 11.24%. Drained some of the ore. And now we'll go ahead and detach that node. Switch to this. Control from here. Am I controlling from the wrong place again? I am. Okay, good. Oh, I gotta stop target tracking. Dummy. What? Oh. Alright, so get that in line there. Close, anyway. And again, I'm really just eyeballing this. I can line that up. Yeah, looking good. Burn off a little bit of... Looks like we're almost on there right now. Oh. And back and down. Looks like we're right on there. There we go. Oh, what's that? Oh, I got a new file call. Oh, thank you. What? I can't read that. Oreo cold? I think that's what it said. I don't know. I couldn't read that. Sorry. Oreo side. Oh, that's a much funnier name or better name. Oreo side. I committed Oreo side before. God, the things I've done to a sleeve of Oreos. All right. It was nice timing on the docking though. I docked and then I got that nice little noise. So the two docking arm / habitat wings are in place. I'm going to go ahead and transfer as much Alright, so I transferred what I could out of this module, and then we're basically going to do the same thing with this module here. Gets a little dicier now because we have to maneuver the heavier modules in place for this. So what I actually think I'm going to do is, it's the best way to do this. I guess they'll be okay. No, you know what we want? Yeah, it'll be okay from this. I can just attach right about here, and it should give me enough clearance, because again, orientation is not as important on this. I just kind of have to get it in place. So I will go ahead and save the game again. I always do quick saves. And I'm only going to do one of the, well, no, I'm going to do both of them. I think I can do them both at the same time. Release. Turn on SAS. I probably could have stood to check my monopropellant. Plenty of fuel in monoprop. Get the camera oriented again. Okay. Now, we might actually have to use the main engines on this because these modules are quite a bit heavier than the empty fuel tanks or the habitation modules. So go ahead and come around. Like I said, I'm aiming for right about there. Right in the middle. That should give me plenty of room to attach. And then we're going to I'm just trying to get to close to the center. I'm actually going to go a little off center because that'll give me well, yeah, actually center is about right. Please attach. All right. Spam that F5 button. Now, this one's going to be a little more, like I said, a little more delicate on this. When we do the other side, I'm actually have to retract these solar panels. Probably would have been better to leave those solar panels undeployed until the end. Would have been less likely to hit something, but you know, we're dealing with what we got. I did it in that order, and now I have to live with it. So decouple, switch to. I got so many of these things floating now. Control from here, so I get my orientation, and then go back a bit. So this one's gonna handle a lot rougher than the other one because oh no, damn it. Keep forgetting to switch back to controlling from this. I don't know why it wants to. No, don't release. Control from here. Okay. I don't know why it insists on doing that, but okay, now we have to. You see, it turns a lot slower too. If I do this right, what we'll do is get this aligned in such a way that I should be able to just slide this bad boy right in. Set that as the target. It's because it's so much heavier, it is very difficult to control. But we're also right about on target. So everything kind of, you have to be much more precise with the movements here. I'm moving a little fast, but oh, hey, first try. Awesome. That worked out way better than I expected. I cannot believe how well that worked out, as a matter of fact. So yeah, that one's in place. Now we'll go ahead and turn make sure these are on. Okay. And then go ahead and release that. SAS on. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't do that. Don't do that. flying out of control here. All right. You can technically build this a little bit smaller, this kind of space tug, but I like this because it matches the form factor of the rest of the craft, while you know, still doing the job. Man, it matches the craft, I think, pretty good. Swing this thing around. Also looking to see when the grocery store is open too. So, because I forgot it closes at midnight. Okay. I need to go to the grocery store tonight and I forgot to check. I don't really want to get, I want to walk to, I want to go to the one I can walk to, not the one I have to drive to. Because I have to go after, if the one I can walk to closes, I have to drive, and it's hard to find a parking spot this late at night in my neighborhood. So, but it all worked out. Everything's fine. We're all fine down here. How are you? That way. Please attach. Please clap. Okay. Awesome. We got it. Don't need that Jewel Osco window open anymore. I gotta go to the grocery store because I'm spending too much money on food. Oh, you know what? Save. Again. Retract these solar panels. They're not really doing me any good, and they are going to get in the way. And then we'll decouple this. And switch to it. Control from here. Activate RCS. Pull away. And couple node. RCS. Oh. Jerk. Control from here. Oh, changed my orientation again. Alright, well, sure. Whichever way it decides is up. We'll go with that. Even if we do this right, I should be reasonably close to lined up already. God, this thing's tubby. Compared to the other modules, that thing's just so much harder to maneuver. I don't. It's hard to. I know it's hard to see, but just my inputs are really just, you know, there's a lot of delay from when I make an input to when it actually sort of reacts, and I have to, you know, account for how much more it takes to turn and how much longer it takes to stop the turn. We're already pretty close. If we do this right. Pretty close, pretty close. And just let the magnets do the rest. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. You can do it. You can do it. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so I can go ahead and extend that radiator. Now really the only thing left to do is to, well, save. And then undock this. Control from here. Set that as the target. Set the locked camera. And then put this at the top of the station. Roll this up. Go ahead and set the target. Target tracking. And get lined up. Oh, hi Snookums. Did you finally decide to get up? Alright, come. You always wait till I'm doing something. Come here. Oh, come here. There you go. Just go ahead and rub your face on the microphone. I gotta remember to sit up. I keep falling out of frame of the camera. It's my fault. I also didn't adjust the camera very well. Oh my god, you can hear the cat purring on the mic. She's like pressed up against the body of the microphone. You little monster. All right. So, oh, Snookums, what are you doing down? All right. Is that sufficient attention? God, cat hair everywhere. All right. F5, save, and so this is lined up. These are off axis. So all I'm doing is rotating this. Control from here. Turn SAS on. So get the cross shape more or less lined up. And I will back off. Go back. Just kind of keep adjusting my alignment here. This has no function whatsoever. This is purely aesthetics. This is just for my own enjoyment. All right, now we can finally extend the solar panels I wish I had a cool button for all these, but I forgot to program it, I think. Yeah. I do wish I had. That's one of the mods I need to install is the in-flight like being able to change those in flight. Okay, so there is. Oh, my sandal fell apart. Can't see it, but my sandal came apart. Ow, 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 ow. Oh, it's stuck in my foot. All right, so there it is. That is the station. Let's see if we can get it around for a glory shot coming into the sun. Look at that. There is the beautiful Mun Station 2, soon to be the Duna mission. So it's got 466 meters per second of delta V available. That's for the. It's actually reduced somewhat by having these little piddly side engines here because they are not as efficient as the main engine. Although I don't think it really makes. I don't know that. Yeah, it doesn't make a difference in the amount. But I've got plenty of ore, so we are basically already turning ore into fuel. But yeah, so this will refuel itself over some time. I will go ahead and turn on the monoprop too. Let's go ahead and refill the monoprop. Oh, why are these not? They're not radiating. All right, it's maintaining fairly efficient thermal efficiency. I'm actually going to turn off the monoprop then. I'll fill up the monoprop and all these as we go around. But see, we're doing a nice little orbit around the Mun. Looks very good. Look at how pretty that is. And we'll go ahead and bring some other crew up here and crew it up with a SSTO. Probably not next week, but in 2 weeks, because next week I got to handle that asteroid capture mission, and there's one of those little pieces of debris that I'm gonna have to get rid of. But yeah, that's it in all of its glory. We're gonna do some circles around the Mun, and refill our monoprop tanks, and then we'll switch to. Alright, all the monoprop is filled up. Now we will make sure that these are both turned on. Both these fuel tanks are turned on. Yes. Alright, switch off monoprop and liquid fuel plus oxygen and fill those tanks up. And I'm going to go ahead and let it do that while I'm working on other stuff. What the hell just happened there? Okay. It shook itself apart for no good reason. I'm glad I auto-saved, or quick-saved. That is... I got krakened for no good reason. Fingers crossed it doesn't kraken itself to death when I reload. Auto strut is on all these parts. There it is. Okay, that's one of the auto strut things that were not on. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that may be why I started to fall apart. That looks good. That's good. That one's auto strutted. That's weird. I don't know why it did that, or how the auto strut got turned off. Also, why is the monopropellant not? Oh, because never mind. It flew itself apart as I was doing that. So I think there was another one yeah, that is another one not auto-strutted properly. It's so weird. Sometimes it just happens. Like I swear I turned auto-strut on all these parts on before I built it, but whatever. Thankfully it held up as we flew out here, and I did save it. So it's we'll do the same thing off stream, but I gotta go do some grocery shopping. So I'm going to end this. Here we are with this awesome Mun/Duna space station, which is kind of how NASA would probably build a ship. It would have stores and all that stuff. It stores of fuel and supplies in kind of radially attached things, and you'd throw them on there. And actually, if you look at some of the pictures of the way they are proposing some of the ships, this is very similar to how it would be. A little different layout, but similar. So that's it from my cat is just licking my arm. It really hurts. Ow. Thank you, Snookums. So that's it for this week. I will go ahead and fix that again, start actually using resources, filling up the resources, and also send this out for getting ready for, not this craft, but get ready for the approach to the asteroid that we're going to put in orbit around Minmus. The base is ready to go. It needs a little bit of science equipment stashed on there somewhere. But other than that, it's good to go. And then we'll launch that mission. I'll probably have to use my heavy launch vehicle for it. My super heavy launch vehicle, as a matter of fact. But we'll go ahead and launch that. And I think we'll be good to go for that next week. So I will see you next week. Thank you for watching. And stay cool. I don't know. I don't ever know how to sign these off. It's kind of sad, to be honest. Anyway, good night.